Hello there, welcome to Saturday Service, a podcast all about faith and football with me, Graham Boozy, in association with the Life Streams churches here in Southend-on-Sea in England. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Chris Pollock from the Churches League in Northern Ireland. How you doing, Chris?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. How are you doing?
Not too bad at all. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. Would you mind just sort of starting off, telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Chris. I live in Belfast. I am 30 years old. I love football. I love fitness. I love health. And I love the summer. And I'm so excited because it's nearly summertime. We're like getting into what is it now? Start of May. So we're getting there. Light nights are in. So yeah, I studied sport and now work in like marketing and social media and stuff. So yeah.
I always start like this because I'm always really interested into where people's interest in football began, and I was just wondering if you could tell me a little bit about, what first struck you about football, and what was the starting point of your love for the game.
I wasn't really like a good footballer back during primary school. Kind of remember in the evenings and things, we wouldn't really have much to do. So me and one of my best mates now, Jamie, went out in the street and like just started kicking the ball around and stuff. And I was like, I'm not very good at this, but I want to get better. I want to try and make the team at school. I want to try and get on that team sheet. And didn't really get into the team the first year through school, but in the second year, or like P7, I got into the team and my name was on the wall in the gym. And like I thought, oh my goodness, I'm actually in the team. So I've played football ever since kind of like P6, P7 throughout my teenage years. And I'm still playing now for Newton Breeda FC. We're based in like South Belfast. We're 50 years old this year as a club. I play at like an amateur level. So football for me is a big love because I follow a team which is hopefully going to win something this year. Arsenal Football Club. I was born in London. My mum and dad met in Northern Ireland. They moved over to London to have me and then moved back. But I used to live in North London for about 3 or 4 years. And my mum said, if you have to support any team, it's going to have to be Arsenal because she drove past there every day with me in her stomach. And that's why I want to, like, hopefully see Arsenal win something. But no, it's a big passion of mine. And I love the sport. I love what it does to people. It brings people together and it kind of just releases so many highs and lows.
Yeah, I was going to ask about how you came affiliated with Arsenal. How's that feeling at the moment? How are you finding the season? Is it fun, or is it actually, complete and utter misery? Just, is it the hope that's killing you, if you like?
It's a hope. It's so, it's just, I just want them to do it. I've never seen Arsenal win the league as being a fan. The biggest thing I've seen them win is the FA Cup. And this is like such a moment where you're constantly like, are we gonna do it? Are we not gonna do it? And everything like it takes up 80% of what I think about constantly. Like I don't care about really anything else in the minute. Life in general, it's really bad, but I'm just constantly thinking, what will I do if we win? Will I go to the parade? Will I get an Arsenal tattoo? Will I dye my hair red? Like, I'm thinking of these things. Like, I want to go. I want to celebrate it really well. Like, even at the minute in our house, it's kind of like the big conversation is, what are we gonna do with if we get to the final, or if we win the league? Are we gonna go to the parade? Or we not? And trying to think of all these options. But then I'm like, hold on a sec. This might not actually happen. This might just all be taken away from us. So it's just been a roller coaster, man. It's just been a complete roller coaster.
I was wondering if there was any particular player in the current team or in the past that you admire greatly. It doesn't have to be an Arsenal player, even just someone that you think, yeah, that's my guy.
I would say it is Declan Rice, 100%. He is what Arsenal should be. You know, he works hard off the ball, and that's the kind of player I like to. If I was to associate with any footballer, if it had to be Declan Rice, like I love working hard for the team, run up and down the pitch. But he's just a leader, and I've really warmed to him this season and last season. But obviously, I love Thierry Henry and all what he does as well. You know, he is the king. He's the goat.
Yeah, for sure. Just wondering, whilst I've got a person from Northern Ireland here, I watch quite a lot of Irish League.
Yeah.
basically because it's free. I don't have Sky or nothing like that, so I get to watch. Unfortunately, they don't have much variation in it. I tend to have to watch Linfield every single week. That's the only team they seem to put on. Linfield or
Feel
Larne.
sorry for you.
Well, but no, it's I enjoy it, and I was just wondering, is it a thing in Ireland where you're sort of like, people tend to support Premier League teams more than the local teams, or is it kind of you have your local team and you have your Premiership team or something like that?
It's kinda mixed, to be honest, like, it's very much up and down sort of thing, like, if your team isn't doing well across the water, you tend to gravitate towards a local team and get behind them, but no, I think it's the Irish, Premier League has really grown the last couple of years. It's really picked up. There's a lot of fans there who are diehards. They travel to games constantly. They're being there every week, and I've started to kind of warm to it. So, are you a Linfield fan?
I'm not really. No, I don't. I don't actually have a team as such when I'm watching. I've got a weird affection for Crusaders, and I don't know why. That is based upon absolutely nothing. But they never get shown. It's always Linfield, it's always Larne. Or the good thing this season is because there's a few more teams battling out at the top. We've got a little bit more variety, so you're seeing a bit more of Coleraine coming through Glentoran, and a little bit of Dungan and Swift as well. So you've had a bit more variation this year, I think, because of the way the league's gone. Because Linfield are
Yeah,
well behind this season, or were well behind rather. But I mean, the cup final this season was absolutely incredible, and I think
yeah,
that was a really good advert for the game as well.
yeah.
So yeah, and I just sort of wanted to talk about the national team as well, and the improvements they've made, and what it's like to have players coming through like Connor Bradley, etc. And I was wondering if you've been enjoying their rise as well.
Yeah, like, I went to Euros. The Euros was actually 10 years ago when we qualified. Euro 2016, I think it was, yeah, where we were in France, and we had Michael O'Neill at the realm there. But since then, it's been very mediocre for Northern Ireland. Like, we haven't really done much, but we got close to qualifying for the World Cup this year. The World Cup game we played against Italy was close, but we were never expected to win that, I don't think. But Michael has done a brilliant job, and it's exciting time to be a Northern Ireland fan. We have Connor Bradley, we have Hume, and we have Shay Charles, like really top talents playing for Northern Ireland. And we have a good excitement there with the team currently because they have potential to go somewhere, hopefully in the next big tournament. And hopefully we will get there because the atmosphere is amazing when you get to go away to European competitions.
Yeah, you mentioned a minute ago about playing for Newton Breda. Lovely Napoli inspired badge, by the way, with that team. I don't
Well,
know if it was inspired.
we're getting that change actually. Right now, we've got a guy from England who's designed some Baller League badges, so we're getting that change, which is gonna be nice. I have to send you the new badge. It's kind of exciting what he's done because we were established in a church at the start, so he's kind of come up with a kind of cool badge. But yeah, it's everyone always says, "Oh, you play for Napoli." No, we don't. It's not Napoli. It's Newton Breda.
Fair enough. But I take it you enjoy that immensely. How long have you been playing for them for?
Oh, I've been playing for them since about 10, maybe 11 years, 12 years. I've been there over 10 years, definitely for sure now. So really enjoy it. Yeah.
So yeah, just wondered if you could run us through a little bit about your association with STATSports and how that came about. And clearly, you've had some amazing opportunities come around from that. And yeah, just wanted to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Well, StatSports is the lead GPS tracking system in football. And when you see a player take off their top and celebrate, you always see the Stat Sports vest, and it's got like a little pod in the back, and it kind of tracks your max speed, your total distance, your high speed run count, your accelerations, decelerations. So my kind of job for them is to help market that out, and I'm kind of like a content creator within the organization. So it's been fun to kind of work with footballers, and we have ambassadors like Harry Kane and Nathan Collins, Jacob Murphy, all these guys who love stat sports, and they're willing to kind of do anything in a video for us to help us brand this out. So even if I was getting an ice bath, not with Harry Kane, but like he was putting ice in the bath. Um, that's I was like, what am I doing here? Like what am I actually at? But no, it's been good.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could move on to the league now,
Yes.
and just sort of run us through a little bit, perhaps, of the history, of when did it start, and also what were the sort of intentions behind the league? Was it intended to be a social thing, or did you, want an opportunity to play football over the summer, or was it, to create links with the churches?
Yeah, so it kind of came about 3, 4 years ago. There's a guy called Shannon McKee who was a really nice guy. He loved football. He went to a church called Christian Fellowship Belfast. So the team in my area called Primrose Hill, right? That's like where I live. It's a community. I kind of go to I go to church, but quite a lot of these guys don't go to church. But anyway, we're like, right, let's just get a team together and let's just start playing against churches. Do you want to like set this up? And they were like, yeah, no problem. So we started with like say 7 teams, 6 teams, 5 teams, and for about 2 or 3 years, we just played matches against each other, and that was it. But then one summer, it was about 2, 3 years ago, so it was about 2023, we sat down and we're like, right, let's actually start something here. Let's start the Churches League where we're giving people a chance to over the summer play football. Because if you think of it, the first thing is, you know this, living in England, the football season ends in like middle of May. And that's when the weather gets good. That's when the evenings are long. So let's create like a tournament, a fun competition, which we'll give it a go and see what happens. It might not be perfect at the start. So we started it, and my team in 2020 four won. It was difficult because we had like 7 teams in it, and 6 teams. You play against the 6 teams, and then it's just like a winner at the top. Then, so I was in 2023. Then in 2024, we were like, right, well, we get 2 groups going. Let's get 2 groups going, and the top team will play against the second team, the other group, and let's do semi-final and final. And that was a great success. And Dundonald, one of the teams, won that. And then last year we have about 10 teams in it, so it's been growing over time, and it's been really, really interesting to see how it has been growing. But it's also a challenge because now we have 13 teams in it, and it started with 6 teams, so it's growing and it's the energy's growing with it. And we kind of have a constitution now. We have like something where we sit on and go, this is the vision of this Churches League. This is what we want it to be. I'm the guy who kind of is a bit mad and go, let's keep welcoming more teams on it, which is probably going to be a challenge this summer because we've welcomed on a team from Coleraine. Coleraine are based, where Coleraine. Coleraine won the cup, so we have a team from Coleraine traveling down to Belfast. So it's exciting. Like it's starting next week, and it's gonna be about 8 weeks. And we have this season. We have a Churches League. We have a Churches Conference League, and we have the Churches Plate, and then a Conference League. So we have 3 different trophies to win. So yeah, it's really exciting and it's gathering momentum. But the main thing is it's bringing Christians and non-Christians together to connect through sport.
I've talked to a few different people from, a number of different leagues and teams, and that feels like such an important part of it. I think it's such a good way of ministering out the Christian ethos, because I think football is, such a leveler, isn't it, in society in general? And is that part of the intention, is to show a good side of Christianity?
Yeah, it's kind of disguised fellowship, isn't it? Like you're getting all these different churches together. Yes, they're all churches, but I would say a lot of the people who play in the Churches League aren't Christians, and it's just a great way to get people together. It's a great way to be a witness. You're surrounded by people. You're surrounding people by Christians. You're surrounded by good people. It's played out as a way which is meant to be fun and enjoyable, and kind of like that's how I became a Christian. I became a Christian because my youth worker got me to go play football in an afternoon called WACA. It was like Wednesday afternoon kickabout. And I started to like get to know people from this church, but I was a complete outsider and I was welcomed in. So that's the idea of the Churches League. We don't put too much pressure on it. like this season we're gonna well this season we're giving every single person playing in it a Bible. So every single person, every team, every player will have a Bible. And then we also support the managers as well with like a little book. And we've brought like Christians in Sport on board this year. So they're gonna give that book out to all the managers. So it's just a really encouraging couple of weeks where get the lads together, kick a ball around, and have some fellowship.
And I was just wondering, is there any sort of conditions in place? Because some leagues will say, "Oh, we've got to have a certain amount of Christians in the team from the church," and and all these sorts of other conditions. I was wondering if you worked within those sorts of things, or is it kind of more, work towards a certain set of principles?
We work towards it. We're not strict. Like there's one of the teams who helped start the league in Rose Hill. They're not actually connected to any church. And it sometimes does bring up the question, like, why are they in the churches league? But it's because the mantra of the league is that we want to welcome in not just all Christians, but people who are very much on the edge of church or they're non-Christians. But we make sure that all the managers, etc., have a good firm foundation in their faith, so they can help and inspire each team.
So, yeah, how interlinked with the churches are they? Or do they just sort of say, well, we're going to represent, for example, the team with the greatest name I've ever heard, which is Willowfield Duffers. How much, yeah, obviously, so there's some other good names, but I love it. How integrated would you say they are with the Willowfield Church, for example? And
They are really yeah. So they're integrated. They turn to the church for their pot of players. Like they're not just getting players from everywhere. It's literally from the church. So they are quite interlinked. One of the churches had to go get like a sign off from the church that it was okay for them to play in the league. So yeah, they some teams are a bit more loose than others, but it's definitely very much connected to the churches and go from that. But we're not a league that goes, okay, well, here's your Christians. Get like where are your Christians, and you have to be see it to play in it. That's not how we work. We want to be open and flexible. So it's just trying to keep that balance, and it's probably the hardest part. It's probably the hardest part of the league, to be fair, is trying to keep that balance between striving towards this goal of having a really good Christian league, but it's also like how can we influence people who aren't?
yeah, because I think it can be a challenge with grassroots football anyway, can't it? Getting numbers in through the door. I chatted to my mate and he was like, oh, I've got 15 no shows this weekend, so it must be a real challenge. So I can understand why you might not want to put conditions in place. The branding's really good. I have to say, the latest video you put up, look, I wasn't listening to the audio, but it looked like an old Joy Division video or something with this sort of really gritty, grainy, black and white thing. And I just wondered, I guess it's very intentional, but how intentional is that branding to sort of try and appeal beyond the Christian audience?
Yes, that's literally it. Like we are trying our best as a brand to be as technical as we can and to be in your face is kind of a moody one. Like we don't want to put like Christian music over the top of it. We don't want to kind of always have Bible verses right down people's faces. We want to be, open and honest. But it's like the CL, the CL is like the logo and the brand, and it's kind of like, what is that? And then when someone asks, what's that stand for? It's Churches League, but we're trying to be as open as we can. Black and white, it's moody, it's kind of edgy, and that's what we feel like this Churches League is. It's got a bit of edge to it.
I guess it's a difficult thing to judge, isn't it? And a difficult line to cross where you obviously want to have a certain degree of Christian principles in place, but you also want to appeal to as many people. And I just wondered how you navigate that line.
Yeah, well, like if you have a line where like it's never gonna be perfect, it's kind of like church in general. Like we have a thing at our church called messy church. Sometimes it gets messy, like the line, but it's the line is and the balance is we are rooted and run by Christians, and each person who's in charge of the league or has a responsibility in the league is a firm Christian, and each manager has that kind of connection with their church and has a strong faith. Then we have kind of the looseness of like each player, and I would say most teams would have a majority of Christians playing in that team, but maybe some don't, and that's 100% okay as well. But I always thought like the branding is what I think I would like. What would I be impacted by? and you can sometimes speak to an audience without being too revealing as well. So like it's just trying to like think of a way, how do we welcome everybody into the room instead of just being very much we want these sort of people. So like there was one team now, my dream and goal would be like to have a variety of teams and like we have churches teams in it, yes, but like there was one year we had like a deaf team playing in it, and we got beat by them, and it was really difficult because they were all amazing footballers. But yeah, it's just trying to be a really open community, but it also has a bit of edge where people get it really excited to be part of.
In conversation with a lot of players and managers, I'm often sort of struck by the fact that, yes, winning things is great, and it's kind of what they work towards. But the things that have the biggest impact for them actually are outside of that. And I just wondered if you could just speak to the sense of community and fellowship that you've developed over the last few years with the Churches League.
Yeah, well, we have like such a mad interest now, and it's a lot of pressure. Like we had teams from Dundalk trying to get into the Churches League, and we just kind of said no. Like, and then obviously I've chatted previously about letting in Causeway Coast Vineyard CCFC, here from Coleraine. There's clear identity that there's a massive want to be part of this league. But again, it's not all about, as what you said, it's not all about the winning. It's about kind of getting people together. Like at the final last year, we had the whole pitch was just surrounded by like supporters and fans. So like it's really hard trying to figure out that balance because this year we're aiming to do like a finals day where we have all these three finals and we're trying to get like coffee carts down to the final, and we want to have a DJ there. We want to have like content going. We want to make this a really good event, but it's just really difficult to try and align that because churches run on Sundays and people may go away, and the time is short. The time is short. We have from the middle of May until the start of July to get this done. So it's quite a intense couple of weeks, but the community is the most important thing of this. Like it's not about winning. Yes, winning brings you joy, and if you lose, it brings the sadness. But it's the main thing is the community it brings, and that's what we want to create.
We've spoken a little bit about it, but I just wondered, what's your ultimate aim and hope for the league? Is it just a case of it just continuing to grow, or is there something else you're hoping for?
No, it doesn't need to grow. Like I think if I be honest with you, we probably let too many teams in it this year, but we're at the max. Like this is us at the complete max, and it might be quite challenging for team members to get all the games done. But the main thing is that we want people to be impacted by the league in a faith way. So we want people to come in, play a church's league, but walk away. You'll have a Bible in your hand, and that could be life changing. And that is the most important part of this league, that people are impacted by God, and God can take it wherever he wants to go. But the most important thing is that someone's walking away with a bit more education about what church is, or they're being a bit more encouraged in their walk, in their faith, because they're surrounded by Christians. So that's the main aim of it.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about your own journey of faith, certain experiences that made you turn to God, and I just wondered if you mind sharing those.
Obviously, I mentioned about the WACA, the Wednesday afternoon football, where I was kind of like brought back into faith, but I was brought up in a faith related house. My mum was a Christian, and my granddad, my mum and my mum's mum and dad, my nana and granddad were big Christians as well. They had a big impact on me. But throughout kind of school, I kind of fell away from going to church. I was just disengaged with the whole thing, but then that's where I get this love for the Churches League because I was kind of welcomed back in through the football, and that's what it was. It was literally nothing else but football. But no, I became a Christian in 2013, so that was like just after I had that kind of link with a youth worker at the church. He was organising football afternoons, and I've been going to the kind of church ever since. But it was never really an easy kind of journey for me. It was difficult, um, like struggled through school and whatnot. But I now it's amazing what he's done in my life. Like turned it 180 degrees, but you can kind of see the plan he buried in me, that the I was impacted through something so good. Now I want to do that for other people.
Yeah, I think that's quite a common journey, to be honest with you. I hear that a lot. It's,
Yeah.
you start off with it, and then, youth happens, if you like, and it's not until a little bit later on in life that you might turn around and come back. And you mentioned about how he's worked in your life. Do you have any sort of moments in particular that you can share, or do you just feel driven to do certain things like the Churches League?
Yeah, well, the churches thing is something it's something that maybe I don't have, loads of time to give into. It's always tough to find because it's voluntary, but yeah, no, I was a youth worker for a local charity called Dream Scheme, for about 3 years, and I love, like, working with young people, and I still aim to volunteer there. They, like, work with young people who are, like, deprived and socially excluded a wee bit, so they're all about, like, where young people thrive, and, like, I'm quite passionate towards young people and seeing their faith journeys, but I went on a the when I was in 2013, I went on an Exodus team, and Exodus is like an organization in Northern Ireland which like sends young people out to different countries, and it was like a mission trip. Oh, it was just amazing. Like that's where God really impacted my life, and that is something I'll probably never forget.
Yeah, would you mind sharing a little bit about where you ended up and what sort of
Yeah,
projects you were involved with?
yeah. So we went to Romania, and Romania was just so run down and poor, but we kind of started like a Bible class sort of thing there, and we did like a kids camp, in one of the small towns, and it was just incredible. And I'm still amazed, like good mates with the guy I went on that team with. That was 2013, and then through I went back and as a leader and a co-leader, throughout my teens and early 20s. Then God kind of driven me to go out to America as well. So I did like Camp America for 3 summers in a row, which was amazing. It was like a Christian camp, and like the people you meet and what God does just is great. And then since then, I've just been doing like local teams more or less, like doing schism teams, Scripture Union. Been going to like camps in like Portugal. So like summer's a big thing for me. I love doing things in summer to kind of help and volunteer. But I like one of the biggest things I've learned that it's not always so much what you do. It's more about like the relationship you have, God, and I think that's really, really important as well. So I'm a big doer, but sometimes you just need to sit and be there with God, and that's what I kind of learned over the last couple of years.
Just wondered if you could speak a little bit of your church and the role that that plays within your life.
Yeah, church is big for me. I go every Sunday, like usual, but I wouldn't be like beforehand. I always did things where I was like involved in different things. Like I was doing things like Vibe or like youth club, the junior youth club, helping out this, helping out that. Like it was so much, but I kind of get the feel that I do one thing and do it well, but I like to spend a lot more of my time kind of not staying away from church, but I like just being in different settings. So I think it's really important for a Christian not to get your life be sucked up by church. It's really important to kind of be and live in that world, but not be part of it, obviously, but live as a witness in it. So, but yeah, my church is great. It's a family church based in South Belfast, and the minister is an Arsenal fan, so it's really, really good. That's why I go.
Has there been lots of scripture, lots of sermons about the benefits of suffering and how that produces endurance and stuff? Uh,
Maybe God's just teaching me something to be an Arsenal fan, I don't
I
know.
think, yeah. I mean, there could be something in that. That was mine. Vic, a West Ham fan. So yeah, we talk a lot about suffering creates
Are you a West
endurance,
Ham
and
fan?
I'm not
Oh,
personally. No, no, no,
oh,
no, no, no.
your
That's not.
minister is.
No, no. My minister is a West Ham fan, but I am a Southend United fan. I've never being from Southend. I don't know if you know much about geography of it, but
Yes.
yeah. So like we're only an hour away from London, so the vast majority of people around me support Arsenal, West Ham, Tottenham, etc.
Yeah,
But no, my dad took me to Southend United, which is down the end of my road here, so I can hear when the
nice.
goals go in and stuff. It's brilliant. So yeah, no, I've always stuck with that. But yeah, the Vicar's he's going through it this year. It's turned in the last week or so, and it's looking like
Oh,
I think maybe their race is run. I don't wish to be the harbinger of doom for any West Ham fans listening, but yeah, I think they're in a little bit of trouble. Um,
Yeah, it's gonna be tough this Sunday, but we'll see what happens. There might be another twist.
yeah, well, you never know. You never know. Yeah, I think on that note, just if you have anything else you'd like to share, this is your moment to say whatever you want to say or promote whatever you want to promote. I'm happy either way. So.
No, I want to say thank you for so much for letting me on the podcast today, and it's great what you're doing as well, inspiring people through literally the game and people's love for God. So it's amazing. And if anyone wants to talk to me or message the Churches League of any advice on how we got started up, it takes a long time. It takes a long time, but we'll hopefully see the rewards of it soon. But yeah, feel free to message me or the page, and we'll get back to you and help you get this vision going. But yeah, no, I really appreciate the invite and the time today.
Yeah, no, it's been brilliant, and I think it's really inspiring what you're doing, and keep going because I think you're doing it in a really special way as well. So, yeah, it's really good to talk to you. You can follow the league on Instagram at Churches League, so head over there. You can also obviously follow myself at Saturday Service Football on Instagram and Facebook, and at Faith and Footy on X. And obviously head over to livestreams.org.uk to find out a bit more about the church that helps me out with all of this. Chris, thank you so much for your time. It's been really good to talk to you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man.